appreciate you guys coming. Obviously, it was it's good to get out in the field, get 2 practices in the bank. We have a lot of great competition. Really, probably, I'm sure there's some teams in the country that have maybe a few more, but we have as many people participating in spring football as we've ever had here. With basically most of the team, all but a few guys returning, and then picked up some kids in the spring that are either walking on or a couple of scholarship kids that have come in. So we have a bunch of guys working. Some guys injured, but they're still finding a way to do some things. And I look forward to putting the pads on Saturday. We'll have one more helmet practice on Thursday, and then begin the rest of our weeks of contact and really teaching the game. But again, really pleased with the guys. They've been focused, and the biggest thing is as the next step for us is I think we become a more physical team, but we have to really know what we're doing, right? We have to really become experts at our crafts, and I thought a lot of our guys are showing that they're way ahead of where they once were. They know what to do, and they can take it to another level, and our coaches are excited about that. So I'm sure you guys have questions. I'll see if I can answer.
How are you doing from a health standpoint? You guys are still waiting on? Or?
Yeah, we have a bunch of guys that had surgery postseason. It was a long year for us, and we're still playing some kids that are a little younger, so their bodies maybe are they're not 22, 23. So Tavon Young is not full go. He's doing drills. He's doing one-on-ones. He had an off-season knee scope. I probably should, if you have the injury report on my desk, I can make sure I have everybody. I can say Alwan, I think it's starters on defense. Jared Alwan had his shoulder done, so he's not participating in everything fully. Now, he's worked really hard. I'm really pleased with Jared. He's doing drills, but he's not going to hit this spring. So same thing with Kaiser Terry, and Julian Taylor, both with off-season shoulder work. Percy Walton banged his back up. Just more of a chronic thing, nothing surgery-wise. He's doing some things. We're keeping him kind of limited right now. Sorry, when I get right off the field, I don't have the best memory. On offense, John Christopher and Broderick Yancey had some off-season work done. So John's getting a lot of work. Broderick's getting a little bit of work. Neither one of them are full go. Jabo Lee, Sal Major are still injured from last year. Jabo, obviously, with the ACL, will be ready till the fall. Frank Newtile's participating in quarterback drills, routes on air, 7-on-7, one-on-ones. He can't do any of the teamwork yet as he recovers from his torn ACL. Anthony Davis and Zach Mesday, as they recover from their torn ACLs. And there's probably a couple other shoulders. Nadel Smith had a shoulder, and he's recovering as well. So I probably missed a guy or two there, and I apologize to them. But that's as well as I can remember. Sharif Finch is not participating right now. He had just a cleaning of his knee, and he has had some chronic knee injuries, so we've just been trying to get him as healthy as we can.
Guys,
good. I was going to say, with Zaire Williams, obviously non-contact, but he looked like pretty explosive out there. I know he had the back injury. Last year we'd ask you about him. You'd just say, well, he's fourth string. Was there more going on with him in the back? And how's he doing?
Well, I think there was a couple of things with Zaire. Let me say something. There's no one on the team as competitive as Zaire. So, as he's grown up another year, he's begun to do things more than just doing the right way, right? And he's really grown up, I think, and he's taken a lot of steps of some things that he didn't do before. But the biggest issue is he just didn't look like a great back, and he wasn't making great cuts. He didn't look explosive in the hole, so he was fourth string because that's how he looked. But there's a reason why. You don't go from having 500 yards to being fourth string without something being wrong. And so as we explored it, we found the issue. Our doctors did a great job, and when you're a running back, something as simple as even just a bulging disc can really hamper your ability to make cuts, to be explosive, to get in and out of the hole. So that was maybe compounded a little bit by a little bit of immaturity. But at the end of the day, if you're the best running back, we're going to play you. We're going to work through those things. But now that he's completely healthy and another full off season, I think you see it. Hopefully, we'll see a guy this spring that can make the cuts, can make look explosive. He looked great the first 2 days. He's been fully healed, so I anticipate him, having a great spring.
How about your thoughts on Sean Chandler, who's coming off a real good year and just the kind of progress he continues to make?
Well, he's as hard a working a guy on the team as we have, both physically and mentally. He's a tremendous kid. He's held to a very high standard by Francis. Francis holds all of his guys to a really high standard. And I think with Tavon being out, he's had to sort of step up in that corner room and lead by example while Tavon's getting healthy. And I think you see that from Sean. So, everything he does, he tries to do it to the best that he can, and that's really the key, right? Whether it's school, community service, football, he does it at a high level.
How many guys over the first couple of days, in addition to Zaire, where you said, "Wow, this guy looks different"? I know you're around him
It's just hard when it's in helmets, to be fair. I mean, really, because really you can't really see anything from the O-line and the D-line. It's really more the skill guys out there. It's nice to have Kareem Ali out there. He's really smart. He pays attention to detail. He's athletic. I would say, Jaquise Thomas and Shamir Beerfield look like they've prepared in the offseason at safety to come in. They have some older guys ahead of them, but they look like they know what they're doing. Colin Thompson, to me, looks like a guy that, now that he's had an off-season, he looks like looks like the player he should be, right? A completely different guy. He feels much more comfortable. Plays with Cole Boozer at tight end. I think he's really kind of grown into his role. And then I thought the receiver, Ventel Bryant's kid we redshirted last year, that he's running with the ones right now, and he's looked really good. And there's lots of other guys. Jamie Gilmore has had his best off-season. Jamie's been one of those guys that we've asked for more and more and more from, and he hasn't really always understood what why what are you trying to get from me, and all of a sudden hitting his senior year now, he is, at least so far, has been in full stride. I mean, he's looked really good on the field. He's looked really good all off season, so I'm excited about it.
That running back position, I know Jihad had a couple big games, but you got a few guys coming in, but is that one of the positions that's like really open? You got 6 or 7 guys that could slide anywhere.
Yeah, right now, Zaire has started a bunch of games. Jihad started a bunch of games. Jamie's had some big games. And David Hood was a kid we were trying to play last year as a freshman, and then ended up, he played a little bit, then had some things happen, and was granted a medical redshirt for last year, so he's just going to have 4 years left. So they're all 4 guys that we know can play and play at a high level in this league. So there's tremendous competition there. Then you bring in the next group of guys in the fall, and there's a different type of back that's coming in, a bigger back, 200-pound plus backs that are coming in. So I think it's going to be great. Jabba Lee was out there running today. You watch him run for the first time, reminds you, why you signed him, right? So I think it's going to, we're going to try to take it from a position that we have never felt like, hey, we're at the level that we want, to a position that we hope will be a strength in the fall.
This spring, what are you looking for from PJ to do? Is development just this spring, new quarterback coach and everything?
I think, just even beyond Glenn being here, I think, PJ looks at last year and says, really the last 2 years is I have to just eliminate the turnovers. I have to eliminate the bad decisions, right? You're gonna have interceptions where that's a tip ball. You're gonna have interceptions where you just made a bad read. Most of our decisions have either been just a really, really, really poorly thrown ball or just a terrible decision. And we can't win the way we want to win if he doesn't make that steps, and all the quarterbacks don't make those steps. So I think eliminating the turnovers is one of the things I want to see from him, and along with that, just operating, being more confident. And I think that through the first 2 days, he looks that way so far.
How did you evaluate his sophomore season?
Well, it's funny. I went to the convention. I saw a guy named Dan Morrison, who's been the quarterback coach at Hawaii and SMU. I thought he gave me real perspective. And here's who's a legend. June Jones is quarterback coach for the last 20 years. And he said it. Here's what he said. He said, he said anytime he's ever played a freshman quarterback, it's followed the same pattern. He said if you play a freshman quarterback, your expectation level is really like here, right? They're a freshman. But they get out there and they're athletic, they're talented, you kind of scale everything back for them, and they end up playing here just because they're playing off instincts. Then you get to the second year, right, and your expectation level, which was here, is now like way up here. And he said, even if they play like this, right, because now they're not playing on instincts anymore. Now they're playing on what? They're playing on trying to learn the offense, learn the protections. They're trying to do their part. They're trying to live up their expectations. Even if they play a little bit better or a little bit worse, it looks way off. And what you're hoping for is the third year that kind of all evens out. So, PJ will be the first to tell you. I'll tell you, he didn't play well enough, but he played well enough to win 6 games, right? And so, if we can eliminate the turnovers, if we can do some of those things, and we can help them around, we have to run the football, and we have to have guys go make plays. I think he'll have a great junior year, and we have a lot of other quarterbacks that have shown that they can play. And so, so far in the first 2 days, so we're going to give them all chances to either beat him out or be his backup, or have an open competition to give it the position.
The way you had it running 7-on-7s, is that kind of how the depth chart stands out? PJ, Logan at number 2, Lenny at 3, Frank at 4, and Georgia.
Yeah, well, Frank can't really do anything. Frank's out of it, right? So Frank is completely out of it. But when we've gone team reps, I think Georgia has gone with the 2s. Okay. So that just kind of rotates by period. Because we do 2 7-on-7s, we do 2 team periods, and so. A position like Kyle, where the guy's the starter, he's coming back as a starter. Sometimes he'll start off as the 1, but at places where we're not sure or anything like that, then we'll have an open battle for everything else. So there'll be days that someone else will run with the 1s, with PJ, until we kind of have some scrimmages. So we try to mix and match it and see who can play with it.
Before check was a guy 2 years ago you were really high on, then just injury after injury. How's he look? Where's he?
He's still pretty far away. I mean, he had just a terrible injury and terrible, just from the infections that he had after the injury. So he coached for us last year. I mean, and was really outstanding at it. Could be a coach. He's come a long way back. I mean, he's back up strong. He's squatting. He's doing all those things, but he's not ready to to participate yet. So we love him. I mean, he's everything we want to have here in terms of selfless. He's a great player. He's an even better person. So I'm hoping he'll be back and be back soon. We're trying to do everything we can, and he is, I know, as well. So, but he's still a little ways away.
Buddy Brown's not playing.
Did they tell you that or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yes, I want to be fair to Buddy, but I mean, Buddy, like I say, he just had another knee surgery, and Buddy is a heck of a football player. I mean, Buddy Brown is talented. He's someone we had a lot of expectation for, but it's when your knees go. There's nothing left inside there. So, he's going to transition and work in the weight room with us a lot like Damir Shaw has done. Damir's, we consider him one of our coaches, coming off injury. He's been with us for a couple of years. And so Buddy will work as a strength coach with us and finish out his eligibility, get his degree, and hopefully make that a career if he wants to.
And he can keep his scholarship, but it won't count against the total that you guys have.
Why did Preblo decide to transfer?
You'd have to ask him. You know what I mean? I mean, we love Jihad. I mean, it just at the end of the day, this wasn't the place for him. I mean, nothing. He didn't get in trouble. It's really amicable. We love him. We love his family. They're great people. But sometimes for some people, it's just, hey, I want to go somewhere else. Hey, I want to play another position. Hey, I want to, So those were his decisions, though not ours. We love Jihad, and we still. I see him. I talk to him. And as I said, I'm proud he was a 2-year starter for us and played well for us for 2 years, and we wish him the best wherever he goes. But he was a class act, great student, really good player. Like I said, great family, and he'll be successful wherever he goes.
So still things are a little open at that position now with him going, and Levitt's not coming back, correct? So you got some.
Yeah, we have 3 seniors, that really started at the end of the year. I mean, no, and Preblo started some games too, but we have Boye, who we expect to play well. We have Wells, who started a bunch of games, and Will Hayes, who started some games, and then Nadel's coming off the shoulder, and then plus the 2 young guys in Beerfield and Jaquise Thomas, who both redshirted last year. So there's those guys, and then we'll see who's next.
If you're without Gion, who has to step up there?
Leon Johnson, and unfortunately Leon sprained his ankle playing basketball. So I mean, but he's still practicing. I'm really proud of Leon, to show the toughness to come out here and practice with a slightly sprained ankle. So we expect Leon. Leon should and will be a starter for us here. And then the young kids I'm happy with. James McHale and Jalen Robinson, both redshirted last year. They've got in there and they've played well so far. They know what to do. Eric Lofton's a returning vet. And then we have some guys that they've been in the program for a year or two. They're starting to get more confident in Samaje Reed and Adrian Sullivan. So I'm expecting our offensive line to go from something that last year we were trying to work around to being a strength for us. And I think that they're ready to do that. And so to have that happen, guys have to step up outside and tackle and to play at a high level.
When you evaluate PJ, I mean, I don't know if you can break it down in percentages, but like, how many times were there where he just did not have a clean pocket to throw from, and he just was really forced into mistakes, and how many times was it on him and he just kind of made a bad read? Or can you break it?
Like I said, most of his bad decisions came outside the pocket. Like very few of them were like inside the pocket, like on time, bad income. I think a couple times you guys asked me, why don't we get him outside the pocket more? Really, you get him outside the pocket is kind of where those things broke down. The Penn State play. Now the second Penn State play, he was in the pocket and just their kid made it, picked the ball off. But so I don't think we protected nearly well enough last year. We certainly didn't run the ball well enough to be to operate at that level where he's not having to win the game himself, and we will this year. But I'd say most of his mistakes came kind of either under duress or outside, but they really didn't come from pressure. They came from just trying to do too much, right? Trying to win the game himself, and we're hoping that that'll all be done here.
Matt, even though you have so many starters back, I get the feeling that there's still a lot of competition for these jobs. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, we have some kids that are probably concreted in there. Hershey and Ioannidis are really good defensive tackles. But we're trying. There's a lot of competition to be their backups and play a lot, right? I mean, Avery Robinson's played a lot. Thrift and Freddie Booth Lloyd, they're out there now. They're going to be really good players. So it's not always even just the backup for the stars. It's the competition to be the backups to get in the rotation because last year we had 3 bye weeks. This year we have 1 bye week, and then we play 9 straight, right? So we have got to, have a lot of guys ready to play. So there's competition everywhere. I mean, our wide receiver pool, that's not even with the kids coming in. I mean, there's real competition out there. And, that's when you know you're good, right? When I don't have to go out there every day and motivate guys by saying, hey, this guy's coming in, it's right there in front of them. They have to play well.
Yeah, the two coaches in Glenn and Frisbee Jackson, just talk about what they brought so far after the limited time they've been.
The first thing I want to say is this. Couldn't be more proud of Adam and Michael, right? Because, Adam's, it's tough to, move into a player development role. But he is such a Temple guy. He's such a loyal guy. And he's a winner, right? So I think no one's benefiting more from being around Glenn and being in this role than him, because I think he's going to end up being a great quarterback coach someday from it. But I think Frizz brings, he brings tremendous energy. He brings experience having played the position and coached the position at a high level, and having, won at Northern and the places he's been. So I think he's, holding our wide receivers to a high standard, setting a standard for them, having attention to detail. And he's really intelligent football-wise, scheme-wise, knowledge-wise. And he can talk about what they did at Northern Illinois with the run game when Lynch was the quarterback. He knows everything that they did. And then I think Glenn brings just a calmness, a presence to the quarterback position and to the room. I think he has tremendous, schematic knowledge as well. And, when Marcus brought his name up to me, I was kind of like, I don't know him, but in the end, I think Sat was right. I mean, he's been a great fit for our staff. He can sit there and talk about anything. So I think as you guys get to know them, you'll like them both. They're both very different guys, but they're both really helped us. So I think we just made our staff a lot better with those two guys